So Kite versus Hisoka is a topic a lot of people have discussed over the years. Both are generically high-tier Nen users with a close connection to Gon. They are both people Gon aspires to surpass and kind of work as goalposts for him to train towards. While I think this topic is interesting, discussions about it usually end up getting into many misconceptions, and I wanted to clarify things and give my thoughts about the matchup. If you enjoy Hunter x Hunter discussions like this, then a subscribe is always appreciated. We have tons of other Hunter x Hunter content on the channel and way more videos I'm working on. If you are a big fan of me and my videos, you can become a channel member and catch my videos a few days early and directly contribute to me and my channel. Honestly, just leaving a like and a comment helps a lot, so thank you guys as always. So the first thing I wanted to cover is that we know a lot about Hisoka and we don't know a lot about Kite. Kite has had a lot of fights, we've seen most of his abilities and how he fights. Kite, on the other hand, has never had an on-screen fight, and we've only gotten to see him use 2 abilities. Crazy Slots has 9 different weapons, and we only know how 2 of them work. We know that Kite tries to finish his battles as quickly as possible, but other than that, we don't know his typical fighting style or attitude in combat. That means I'm going to be doing a lot of guesswork, and I'll just say now that it's possible that Kite's secret abilities might be way stronger than whatever we've seen so far. One of Crazy Slot's numbers might be a nuclear bomb or something. However, that means it's also possible that Kite's other abilities are not that much stronger or only slightly stronger than the moves he's shown. Unfortunately, we just do not know. For this video, I'll be sticking to the information we do know for sure and making inferences and educated guesses based on information in the manga. But I won't be making baseless theories about what he can do. If you headcanon that Kite has secret weapons that would one-shot Hisoka, go ahead. But as of now, we have no evidence to support that. With that in mind, let's get into it. Now I'm going to do something a little different than usual, and I'm going to start by discussing the characters' Nen abilities and fighting styles before going over their power levels. The 2 weapons we for sure know how they work is Kite's second ability, Silent Waltz, and 4th ability, simply a really big gun. He also has a mace, which we don't know its effect, and Jing says he has an ability that activates when he doesn't want to die. This could be some kind of amp, similar to Kurapika's Chain Jail, but it also could just be an ability to come back to life or something weird like that, which is why he returned as a Chimera Ant. Now, based on what we know, this gives Hisoka's Bungee Gum a pretty big advantage. We've seen him stop bullets with Bungee Gum against Goto, and we have good reason to believe it's a bad match for Blade users. The reason I say this is because Nobunaga, someone stated in the Hunter Encyclopedia to be the most skilled fighter in the Phantom Troupe, considered Hisoka a troublesome opponent due to his Nen ability. Bonolenov also thought he had a bad matchup against Hisoka, with his main skill set being close combat using a spear. This is likely because in close range, Hisoka can attach Bungee Gum to his opponent's weapons and body to hinder their movement. Now, Kite's Silent Waltz doesn't require him being in super close range, but if Hisoka managed to use Bungee Gum to restrain Kite's scythe, he won't be able to use Crazy Slots again. Kite has to use Silent Waltz to make the scythe disappear, and Silent Waltz is the only move Kite can use the scythe with. So if, hypothetically, Hisoka attaches Bungee Gum to the scythe and then attaches it to the ground, then Kite is pretty much stuck with a useless scythe. Therefore, for Kite to win, he either needs to be way stronger or way more intelligent, since Hisoka starts with a pretty good ability matchup. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Kite is stronger than Hisoka either. Kite doesn't have a lot of feats, but the one everyone likes to bring up is his fight with Pito. A lot of people think the fact that Kite impressed Pito means he's above Hisoka. However, I'd argue Hisoka would just do even better against Pito than Kite did. Hisoka was a physical match for Chrollo, who barely did any damage to the magician, while Hisoka could damage him with 1 or 2 blows fairly easily. Chrollo was so strong that Zeno and Silva Zoldyck believed they need to sacrifice one another to beat him, while Chrollo wasn't even going all out. I'm not going to start the whole Chrollo versus Zeno debate again, I've gone over it in other videos, but as a whole, Chrollo is confirmed to only be trying to catch the Zoldicks alive to steal their abilities, while Zeno was going for the kill. Therefore, I think it's fair to at least say Hisoka is on the same level as Zeno, if not stronger. Pito considered Zeno an extremely impressive opponent and got very excited when it came to fighting him. So, if Zeno is impressive to Pito, then Hisoka would also be impressive to Pito, and Kite being impressive to Pito is not that special. I also think people tend to exaggerate how good Kite did against Pito. Pito was testing their own abilities against Kite to see if they were strong. After seeing Kite use crazy slots, Pito didn't immediately attack and instead expressed interest. I think it's very likely they would have let Kite use his abilities instead of fighting all out and just destroying him. And this could explain why Pito supposedly has a cut on her cheek. She allowed Kite to use different moves to learn about Nen. This cut could also just be Kite's own blood, but I digress. To support this, it's been stated that Knuckle and Kite are about the same level physically, but Knuckle thought he'd need to use his Nen ability and tactics to beat Chitu. Later, Chitu becomes more powerful by training with Pito and Poof, but Zeno and Silva Zoldyck barely registered them as a threat and Silva caves his head in with one punch, with Zeno claiming even if Chitu was on guard it wouldn't make a difference. Considering Hisoka scales to Zeno and Silva, it stands to reason Hisoka would be far stronger than Chitu, and thus far stronger than Knuckle, who is equal to Kite. If that isn't enough to convince you, in the databooks Hisoka and Kite simply have the same stats in Nen, strength, and skill, meaning they should at the very least be comparable to one another, and Kite doesn't have an overwhelming advantage in strength. Then it comes to intelligence, and while Kite is clearly a smart and skilled fighter, he hasn't really done anything to show he's some battle IQ top tier. Hisoka wins basically all his fights by outsmarting his opponents, even when he doesn't need to, like with Gon. The guides say they have comparable intellect, but it also places Hisoka's ingenuity stat, or problem solving and cleverness, 2 levels above Kite and even a level above Chrollo. I think it's pretty clear I'm leaning towards Hisoka winning this. He's at least comparable to Kite in terms of strength, he has a distinct advantage in their Nen abilities, and he's probably a lot smarter too. Once again, if you think Kite is secretly way stronger with some secret crazy slots number, go ahead. But based on what we know, Hisoka wins.